if you really want to have discussions on it, I think everybody should make videos and post their video links in the comments. Like, disregard any comments. This is going to help us significantly actually voice our voices. So you'll know if one person posts a comment and then puts a link to their video, that should be their comment. So this is my comment. The COVID, we have to really think about what this really means, because when you really think about the fact that tobacco and alcohol, at least in America, is legal and it kills hundreds of thousands of people every year, and it's been doing it for 100, 200, 300, 400 years. So I mean, you can do the math, and for about 70 years now, we've done the math and we've known that it's bad. What I think this is, guys and ladies and gentlemen, this is the world's power understanding that the old system of media is no longer adequate. It's not going to work. There's too many people, there's too many voices, there's way too many other options. So now what their plan is, in my opinion, is to slowly shut everything down, start censoring what people think, what people say. And, this goes further than just COVID. This is all coming into the light now because everybody had stopped their lives and everybody was forced to be inside and think, rationally, and they were pulled away from their jobs. And finally, people had enough time to actually think for themselves. And that was dangerous. If you think about it, COVID, at first, they were trying to do away with cash. There was a huge thing here in the United States where just cash was, for some reason, cash just didn't exist anymore. You couldn't pay with cash at first. There was no change, and that's on purpose. That was a play for them to try to get big data, everything electronic. That's what this is, guys. The COVID is a real virus. Ebola is a real virus. All those viruses are real things. What these people do, and I say these people because they hide behind the media, and there is definitely some state-sponsored actors behind the scenes doing stuff. As I post these videos, I'm a musical artist, and if I go through my distributor, my first 2 uploads ever, so nobody knew me, I wasn't famous, and I'm not famous now, but just to prove my point, 3 videos, they hit 200, 500, and 1,200 views because they're making money off of it. All of this stuff is all money oriented. Follow the paper trail, and what we need to do is we need to post these comments, and don't sit there and write a comment on anybody's feeds, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter. If you want your voice heard, speak with your mouth. Videotape, we have phones. That way, we have a face and a voice, and your voice can be shared and your face can be shared, and people can know who you are and what you truly stand for. And that it's not just a bot making these false comments, because that's another issue. They flood YouTube and Twitter with all these comments. So realistically, you have, let's say, a room of 100 people, okay? Well, there you go on, and everybody is on an app that only wraps around this room of that 100 people. A good way to look at this is that those 100 people are in the rooms, but there's 200,000 comments. Because the rest of them, besides the 100, are completely fake. And within those 200,000 comments within that room, people start commenting on those fake comments, and they don't actually talk to each other. So nothing gets done. It's another way of filibustering. Basically, they're wasting time, and they waste your time that way. And enough of it, they suppress what we have to say and they suppress us and our voices. That's what's going on right now. They don't want people out in the streets. They don't want people gathering. They don't want people conspiring. They don't want people speaking up and thinking for themselves, because what's about to happen, people, what is about to happen is they are going to take everybody's rights. What's going on right now, and I will blow the whistle, China is getting ready to take over. China is going to be a superpower. The US's debt is so far engraved. We just left $1 billion worth of stuff in Afghanistan. This country is falling apart. Like, people won't work, and it's falling apart. And beyond that, socially and structurally, it's falling apart. Nobody talks anymore to each other. Everybody's on his phone. What's scary is that how easy it would be to invade a country nowadays. It really would be so easy. Because think about this. If they can convince everybody online, and they can do the room with 100 people scenario, right? But they're actually doing that right now. How easy would it be for an invading army to be in a city over, shut down the media, and that city would be taken over and nobody would know? Give it 2 years. They could do the same thing slowly in America. They would just shut down all media outlets. They would just put out fake news, and eventually America and any of its allies are taken over by any of these people, including China and Russia and state-sponsored actors. I'm not saying they're doing this, but this is a threat. And this is how big of a threat this is to our national security, just in like general terms of national security. If you could imagine your nation being surrounded by walls, these companies are literally, if there was a wall already put up, these companies in Ephesus are just destroying these walls. They're just breaking them down. They're saying, hey, problems arise, and all they're doing is making money. They don't care about us, guys. They don't value your voices. The only reason they value your voice is if they can make money off of it. And as soon as they're done making money off of it, you will be gone. This is how they operate. This is cancel culture. If you don't put up with the Nazi Facebook regime, because that's what it is. It's a Nazi regime. Facebook and its leaders are like Nazis. And the same thing with Jeff Bezos. Okay? When you have 4 people in the world that literally could stop world hunger, and you have the rest of the world still working, supplying them, this is chaos. This is madness. We have to come together. It doesn't matter from the United States. It doesn't matter from the UK. It doesn't matter if you live in Iraq. It doesn't matter if you live in Venezuela. It doesn't matter if you live anywhere. People, we have to understand that we are human beings. We are all at a finite lifespan on this earth. And we have a responsibility not only to ourselves, but to our friends and our families around us, to be the best people we can be. And the start of that is by not putting up with this anymore. Bring in your brothers and sisters. If they're black or white, bring them in. It doesn't matter what color your skin is or where you're from. We're all people at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, for literally 10 years, these people have set up a program specifically and illicitly just to separate humanity from each other, with the clause that they're going to bring each other together. What they did was they brought us together, and then they filled it with nothing but lies and just threw it into chaos. We have to come together. We have to, guys. There's no other options. There isn't going to be this opportunity again. This is it. This is it, guys. I really hope you believe me. Because if I'm a 27-year-old male and I'm sitting here freaking out because of all that stuff, Imagine how serious it must be. Because there was a generation before me that was 27 that was out partying because there wasn't anything to worry about. But now there is, okay? And people of my generation and of my age group, guys, we are going to be this force in the future. We are going to be the leaders. We need to decide what type of leaders we are going to be because those leaders are going to pass away. But their issues and what they leave with us will not pass away. We will be left with that. So before they pass away and they leave us with great evil, we have to stand up and get them out. It's okay to have social media. It really is. Don't text and drive, but enjoy social media. But if a media social platform of any sort, of any nature, is simply used against the average person in humanity's voice because of someone else's viewpoints, so they want to validate theirs to silence you, but they won't validate yours to speak for yourself. This hypocrisy and this totalitarian terrorism, it's domestic terrorism, it's tyranny, it's dictatorship. This is communism. Like, guys, they're switching the country right now. We need to act now. It doesn't we're really not understanding. While we're talking about it, they're doing it like every other time before. Right now, they're doing it right very now at this second. We have to come together. We have to be one voice. We have to unify each other for good and for the world, not for ourselves, but for the people that come after us. Thank you, guys.